candidate that is leading the race to become the Manchester United manager now. We'll go through all the news that's come out. So Michael Carrick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have both been sounded out by Manchester United about the caretaker role until the end of the season. Sources say Ole wants to rewrite the mistakes after his past tenure and would even work with the club for free. So yeah, listen, it's looking like Ole would be the manager that comes to Manchester United. Right now, in terms of the interim basis, we'll talk about. He's a leading contender. United have had initial conversation with a number of former players under consideration for the role. Ruud van Nistelrooy and Michael Carrick are on the short list for managers. And then Laurie Whitwell put this article out a few hours ago. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a leading contender for Manchester United caretaker job. Club officials have spoken to him today. And then Fabrizio has said Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Manchester United advancing positive talks over caretaker manager role. As revealed yesterday, Ole wants the job and he's a serious candidate with talks well underway. So listen, what I would say about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, obviously a great manager, and he played fluid attacking football at Manchester United. Now again, he's someone who gets the club, so there'd be no problems in sort of finding out and any adaptation. I mean, the main concern would be if you do bring in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is if he does well, he gets Europa League football. There will be people demanding for him to stay, and I think the conditions of that contract that is being set for Manchester United, there would have to be certain clauses in there that make sure that is only a certain deal. And obviously he wants to come in and help the club, which again you can understand. He's a former player, he's a legend of the football club, have one of Manchester United's most iconic moments in the Champions League. And you look at his managerial stint at Manchester United and you look at how he would set up this team, it would be obviously a generic 4-2-3-1. And you look at some of the players that he's worked with before that are still at the club, and Maguire, Shaw, Bruno Fernandes. Trying to think of anyone else. Would Rashford come back now? We'll have to wait and see. But he has worked with quite a few players at the club before. And again, I think he'd be able to get some good results with the squad, and that is the aim from now to the end of the season. Again, I don't think there's much better fit. I know a lot of people are frustrated about him because, again, you're rewriting the past, and there's a reason why he's left. But in the fact that he's been spotted in Manchester and the fact that the club officials have spoke to him, I think his future at Manchester United, and he has the support of the senior Manchester United players and some high-profile club legends. So again, he'd be someone who's backed. Would he be with Carrick? Probably he'd come in with Carrick and Fletcher. So yeah, I mean the squad he's going to inherit would be much better than I would say than the squad that then obviously he had at the club, and I think he'd be able to work with his players and get a lot out of them. So yeah, obviously he's the ideal sort of a manager to come in at this time of need, and he's willing to help Manchester United. So yeah, Solskjaer is the guy. He's looking like he's gonna come into this team. And again, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets the interim role at Manchester United, he would hope to be made permanent manager again in time, should he do well and prove himself. And again, that is the big negative. And I think the Glazers ultimately the Glazers know what they're doing with this decision. They bring in a ex-manager, ex-player who's already been at the club, played some very good, exciting counter-attacking football, but ultimately got sacked, and there's a reason he got sacked. And there are negatives. Obviously, Solskjaer had some good performances for Manchester United. He beat Pep, I think, 3 times. There were counter-attacking football. Martial, Rashford, Bruno were doing very, very good jobs. So yeah, I think he'd be someone who United would massively appreciate the club. Now, if you look at his starting 11 predictions or whatever, I've seen someone line up the Maguire and Lindelof as the centre backs. I mean, happy we don't have to see them anymore. It would be a 4-2-3-1. Lamont in goal. I think it would be Mazraoui right back, Shaw left back. Now I know he loves Maguire, but I think it would be Martinez and Yoro, or Martinez and De Ligt as the centre backs. I think it'd be Casemiro. He loves Kobbie Mainoo. Casemiro, Mainoo, Fernandes, and Ahmad Mbeumo Sesko. No, Ahmad Mbeumo Cunha. Sorry, I think that would be the team that he would inherit. Now let's look at the last team, because I think that's certainly something very interesting. In terms of the team that was in his last game as the Manchester United manager, because I think that's definitely something to look at, and kind of see. But the team was De Gea in goal, which again we know he's not going to be at the club. But yeah, I think it's very interesting to see in which the way, um, yeah, the teams. This was the Manchester United team. De Gea in goal, a back four of Wan-Bissaka, who's no longer at the club, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, McTominay, Matic, Fernandes, Sancho, Rashford, and Ronaldo. So, listen, that was the team in Solskjaer's last game, and you look at that team now, like it'd be Le Mans, Mazraoui, and I'm not going to go through all the players, but it would be a significant upgrade. So again, I'm excited to see if Solskjaer does come in. I think he's a manager who gets the club and in a short term role would be very, very good. Now the concern would be if he does do well, United would probably give him the job, which again, warning signs. United have to go out and get a top level manager, even if he does do well, and I think that is the concern. But yeah, in terms of his coaching staff and whatever, I know a lot of people are concerned with the fact that it was McKenna and Carrick that were doing the coaches. Obviously, they won't be at the club. They won't be at the club, so see how his coaching would work. But yeah, I think it'd be very interesting to see what does happen with him at the club. Talks are advancing. There has been contact made. We'll hopefully get some official confirmation soon. I think in terms of his first game, I mean, it probably would be the derby, and there's no better game for Ollie to return to, the Manchester derby at Old Trafford. It'd be a rocking atmosphere, and it'd be great to see him again at the football club. Now, again, in terms of other managers to bring in, don't know who you go out and get, but yeah, Ollie looks like the one at the moment, and he's going to be playing. He's going to be playing attacking, counter-attacking football the Manchester United way. Now, again, I think he would have a lot of players to come in and help him, ex-players. I think, obviously, Johnny Evans is at the club, and he will be at the club for the game tomorrow against Burnley. Darren Fletcher, Carrick. Yeah, I think I'm excited to see what does happen. So, yeah, let's see what does happen with Solskjaer. But that is the latest. It's looking like the deal is close. He will be on his way to Manchester United soon, and I'm excited. And yeah, let's see what results Manchester United get from now to the end of the season. I think there's certainly enough of the season to salvage it from now to the end of the window. So we end of the summer, and obviously the main reason why Amram got sacked, I don't think Ollie would be someone to demand anything in January, and I think he'd be able to work with his team. There'd be enough depth. You get players back from AFCON, and you just work and see what we can get out of this season, because I think it's way too early. I think Ineos, I've kind of written it off, but as fans, we can't allow that to happen. And I think there's a big end to the season in store for Manchester United, whether that is getting Europe, winning an FA Cup. I think seeing Ollie at the club would be very interesting, and I think it's no one expected this when he left. What was it, 5 or 6 years ago? But again, Manchester United a strange football club. So yeah, Ollie could be back at the club. We will have to wait and see what happens. But that is the latest news. Contact has been made. Talks are going on. He said he would even come back to the club for free. So I'm sure Sir Jim Radcliffe will see that as a massive tick. But we will have to wait and see what happens. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on